Okay, so we've just had a fun 24 hours where we've been part of the cybersecurity revolution. So a key focus of this is to be able to share knowledge across the world. So it started off in Edinburgh yesterday, it went over to Canada, and then has went round the planet. So we're here to say goodbye to the first cybersecurity revolution. So with us we have Michael. Michael, are you there?
I'm here. Hi there.
Okay, could you just introduce yourself?
My name is Michael Joyce. I'm with Serene Risk, hosted at the University of Montreal, Canada's Smart Cybersecurity Network and Knowledge Mobilization Group.
Okay, and I have Adrian here in Edinburgh. Could you just introduce yourself,
Yeah,
Adrian?
so I'm Adrian Smiles. I work with Bill in the Cyber Academy here in Edinburgh Napier University.
Okay, so Michael, this was a key idea of yours. Why do you think this is so important for us to take forward?
So the idea for the cybersecurity revolution was to try and come up with an event or a way to reduce some of the barriers to international collaboration uh, between researchers and those working on cybersecurity around the world. It really can be uh, quite an investment of time and financial resources to attend international conferences to get researchers to come together. So the, the idea of trying to use live streaming was a way of reducing those costs to more or less zero now with the wide availability of cheap devices with cameras and microphones and services such as YouTube.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
And Adrian, why do you think this is such an important thing to do?
I think, like everything that just to reiterate on some of the points that Michael's made, I think that it's so important for us to kind of do these events. There are researchers working out, all the corners of the globe, and cybersecurity is a global problem with global solutions. And we can't work in isolation, and we need these tools and these conferences to be as low cost and as ubiquitous as possible, so that everybody can join in and have some good fun in doing so.
And what I thought was interesting about our event here is that we had leading cybersecurity vendors such as Akamai, Carbon Black, Trend Micro, and Semantic. But streamed in with those vendors were our great Scottish SMEs who are really innovating. The Zone Foxes, Seven Elements, Quorum, Cyber, and ECS. And it's nice to see that we're now seeing new companies coming forward who can react much quicker. A common theme on our side was the usage of machine learning and how that could be used to help human analysts. And a key thing from that was that we're being swamped by alerts. Increasingly, the amount of data that's being generated by companies is extremely difficult to be able to make sense of. A key thing that I took from it was that SecureWorks reckoned that they coped with 260 billion alerts per day. So it's important for us to obviously understand the methods that we might apply machine learning to be able to reduce the overhead and the overload on human analysts. So from your point of view, Michael, what were your main observations from the day?
I think it was interesting that the human aspect of cybersecurity was common across a lot of the sessions. So Rutger Lutfeld in the Netherlands, his group presented quite a lot of interesting research around the human element of cybersecurity. David Mammon and the group out of Israel presented environmental aspects of cybercrime and cybersecurity. The group in Colombia also presented community aspects and how that affected cybercrime, cybersecurity. Australia as well, there was a theme there talking about some of the human issues uh, around the use of technology in crime there. So I think um, the human element was something that came through quite strongly, and perhaps it was because we had a good mix of social science and computer science in the groups that were taking part in the cybersecurity revolution. I know, at least for the group in Montreal, We had a panel that was as half technical group working on Bitcoin and distributed ledger type technologies, and the other half working on the social sciences aspects of darknet. Really interesting to have those kind of groups come together, compare notes, particularly in our room with the group working on the technology for payment and the other group working on the understanding the drug dealers who were selling the products. Very good, interesting look from both sides of the coin, the human and the technological. But it's really, really good to see and interesting to see that the human side was really prevalent across all of the groups all around the world.
Yeah, I must agree with that. I thought the presentation from the ITU was interesting, especially where they're pushing forward a citizen focus nature of some of the standards that they're trying to develop, and also why we need a trust infrastructure, because the current internet that we have really can't be trusted in many ways. So Adrian, what did you take out of the day?
So I thought it was an absolutely great opportunity to collaborate. I mean, for me personally, I thought the presentations that I heard from our Canadian colleagues, Arash and Mazia, they were absolutely fantastic. And I know for a fact that we're doing a lot of work within the dark web, which absolutely would chime very, very nicely with the work that Arash is doing over in Canada. And so I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to pick up after this conference and collaborate quite strongly.
And a key pointer for me was obviously that security is important, and obviously cybercrime and the detection of it, but the resilience of our online environment needs to be really one of our main focuses. I took away the quote from Akamine that said that the largest denial of service was 1.2 terabits per second. Few companies could actually cope with that level of attack. The expense of it really wasn't that expensive. So we really need to understand how we can make all our services much more robust against attack, because it could be key national infrastructure assets that could be taken down, such as our healthcare system. So it's good to see that there was good collaboration and good possible collaborations for the future between the UK, Scotland and Canada, and then across the world. So Michael, what's your main takeaway from how we might develop this into the future?
Well, I really see this first attempt as a proof of concept, and I think we've proved that it works. So the enthusiasm among the community, and I mean, even the fact that we're able to put it together in such a short time span. I think it was just over 2 months ago that we had the first conversation between ourselves and the group at New Brunswick about whether this would be something that we could possibly even consider. So the fact that all of the groups around the world are so enthusiastic and coming together means that we have a good base. I hope to expand on that. Hopefully get more participants involved, more research groups involved. Expand the capacity of those who are involved this time to with their ability to stream and put content online. And I'd also really like to, over the next couple of years, work on developing an audience. So I'd like to work with developing countries, governments such as criminal justice organizations, law enforcement organizations, academic organizations in developing countries to help bring those groups as an audience for the presentations that are coming out of the developed countries, those that already have a cybersecurity infrastructure, so we can really help those groups learn and get in contact with the researchers who are doing the work around the world.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
And Adrian, how would you see it develop?
I mean, I absolutely. I'm hopeful as well that we can turn this into some very, very interesting, phenomenon into the future. I think that, the problems that we face within cybersecurity and cybercrime generally are borderless. They're indiscriminate. They affect everybody at any time, and to try and reduce the barrier of that knowledge entry point for researchers is of paramount importance. And having events like this that everybody can enjoy and participate in, where they can share all of their ideas and their research, I think that's a really important step forward.
Okay, and certainly I observed that this move away from physical systems towards cyber-physical, that things are being rebuilt, the foundations of our society are being rebuilt through software, and we really need to have a very solid foundations in the same way that we've built foundations in the past for some of the beautiful buildings that we have in Edinburgh that have lasted for hundreds of years. We need to make sure that we really build a solid foundation for the future because it's a changing world. We're moving from Industry 4.0 towards some information. We're moving from an industrial age towards an information age, and really this could have the greatest of potential for economic development, for social change, but with it brings lots of risks. So Michael, thank you for all the support that you've given. There is a natural bond between Scotland and Canada, as you know well, and we're keen to really develop economic and social ties. But really, this makes the world into a village, and hopefully we can all collaborate together and really change things for the better. Okay, well, thank you from sunny Edinburgh, and we hope you have a restful weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. And I'd just like to thank all of the groups who are involved, particularly Joshua James at Hallian University, who was sort of my partner in crime, managing it 12 hours apart to provide support for everyone and develop the website, keep everybody updated. Thanks to you guys and the group at UNB, who were the sort of the original collaborators on this, and I hope we can do it again and do much more in the future.
Absolutely. I hope we can do it again too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Cheers,
Bye.
Michael. Bye bye.
Bye.